I have a question for you. Are you wasting your life? Like, if you could do absolutely anything with your life right now, what would you be doing? Welcome to Coffee with Shanda. It's 6 a.m. here in Southern California. I'm looking at the ocean. It's amazing. And for the last, I don't know, 2 years of my life, I keep thinking about how do I optimize? How do I optimize not only my life, but how do I optimize all the lives around me to get the results that you want? And this morning I was sitting there reading the Bible. And in the Bible, I was reading a story about when Jesus got crucified. And I was thinking to myself, I was actually getting into the scripture where I was actually thinking about when they actually stuck nails through his wrists and hammered him to the cross. And I was thinking about that this morning, and I was like, I'm reading the scripture, I'm reading, the different stories in the scripture, and I'm like, wow, like the things that are great leaders on this planet, the things that the stories that we read of the people who have made a huge impact with their life. I mean, you guys, we have one life to live. We have one life to live. I mean, I don't know about you, but what if you could get completely out of your own way today? What if you can get completely out of your own way today? What would today look like? Do you even know what today could actually look like if you got out of your own way? I want to just stop for a second, close your eyes, and just think. If you could have today look like anything, if you could have today look like any way that you possibly could want it to look, like you're standing at, let's say, 6 o'clock p.m., end of the day. What if today was the perfect day and you accomplished something really extraordinary? What would that be for you? I don't know about you, but I remember about 4 years ago, I remember literally, actually longer than that. It was like 5 years ago. And I remember actually working out of a closet. And every morning I got up broke. Well, I was on my way up. I was positive. I was trying to make it happen. And I walked into the spare bedroom that had stains on the carpet. And I worked out, basically we built a wood, really it was like a bench, but it was made a desk. And I would go in there every day and I'd work out of a closet. And it was super hot. There was no air conditioning in the house. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But every day I showed up to work in that closet and I plugged away to build hardcore business. And I remember how many days I spent in aspiration and hoping and wishing that things would get better, and at the same time being positive and super excited when I thought something was going to work, and then being let down when it wasn't that big thing that had my company pop. But somehow I kept going, right? Somehow I kept going. And I think you could probably relate to this. Like, you keep going, right? If you have any sort of grit or vision, you keep going. You may even ask yourself sometimes, like, is this ever going to work, and is this worth it? Maybe should I go do something else? But somehow you keep going. And I just want to share something with you. When I had Christy Miller on yesterday, Coffee with Shanda, on the Hardcore Business page, and she was talking about winning. That's been the story of my last 2 years in business, is not trying to figure out how to just get the amount of money that I want, or just get that car that I wanted, or just pay off a car. I had all these different visions and desires growing my company. Like, I wanted to pay for a car cash. I wanted to move to the beach in California. Like, I had all these visions that I wanted. I never actually really wanted to be a millionaire until I actually went and served more. And then I opened up my awareness that I actually wanted to be a millionaire. And I share all of this with you because I still think we're under optimizing our lives. Okay, I really do. Like, if you look at your day yesterday, like, just stop for a second and look at your day yesterday. Was yesterday a waste of time? Or did you totally effing rock it? Like you literally finished yesterday and you were like, I left nothing else on the table. I was on fire. My hair was on fire. I was like making shit happen. At the end of the day, I was really proud of myself. Is that the type of day you led yesterday? I didn't. I didn't. had a good day. I got done what needed to get done. I accomplished some things. We made some money. I served a couple people. Not what I'm capable of. And the only reason why I want to have this come to Jesus moment with you is because I believe that Coffee with Shanda is a moment for us all to get real. I feel like it's a moment for us to stop for a second and look up about who can we serve and who can we help. But also, how much of us are we putting into our life? I mean, I know there's something called busy. You're busy. I get it. But are you busy focusing on the things that really matter? Are you busy focusing on the things that light you up? Every day that I'm not doing something powerful with my life, I feel a little guilty. And I only share this with you because I know and you know, when we put our heads down at the end of the day, have you given it your all? You know, we had Lexi on just the other day as well. Yesterday, or the day before, we had Lexi on, and she's got stage 4 cancer. Lexi, are you living today the biggest version that you can live? And was yesterday extraordinary? Right? Because I find that we're often busy. And this is actually a habit of the times. It's a habit of our smartphones, of all the social media platforms. My God, if they come out with another social media platform that we've got to be on and dominate, I'm going to pull my hair out. It's bullshit. We're setting ourselves up to not only have heart attacks, but be disconnected from our dreams and the people that we love. Now, I want to tell you, there is nothing wrong with my life right now. I'm not on fire because somebody pissed me off. I'm not on fire because I have a breakdown in my relationship. I'm not on fire for any other reason but the right reason, which is how do you and I optimize our life? Right? How do we show up in a way that we squeeze every ounce of juice out of the meaningfulness of our life? And when I look at someone like Christy Miller, who I brought on to Coffee with Shanda the other day, the woman who is going after winning my Porsche out of my clients, and I think of all the hundreds of my clients that never got off the couch to even play the contest. And I think, are you kidding me? And all they're representing, there's nothing wrong with them. All they're representing is all the areas in our life that we're still not optimizing. Are you being a 10 in your relationship right now, or are you fucking complaining about your partner? Right? Excuse my language, but when I get passionate about things, it just comes out. One of the things my mother hates. But, like, are you? I mean, I think it's kind of crazy that we sit there and we want something more from our partner, but, you know, ladies, are you making love to your men? Men, are you showing up with flowers every week? I mean, every day. I read a note once that made me bawl. And it was this letter that this woman had written. And it was basically her husband, when he passed away, literally paid for years of sending her a flower every day. I thought to myself, that's optimizing your life. Right? Like, he's not even here anymore. It's not like he can get the recognition from his wife, but he's set up to make a difference even after he's passed away. Could you imagine how that man showed up in his marriage while he was alive? I think about our businesses. And like, again, another Christy Miller. And the fact that I bet her husband is so proud that he has a wife that said, cut me off, honey. I'm going to go after this thing and make it work. And she's not only carries around because you guys, she's trying to win my Porsche, right? She carries around a actual copy, a model of my Porsche, but she's gone the extra mile to go to Porsche and drive the Porsche. Do you know that, like, I remember when I wanted a Porsche, do you know what it took me to actually go drive it once? I mean, the reason why I have a Porsche Cayenne is because I always wanted it. I drove in somebody else's car, and I thought, oh my God, this car is amazing. And when I finally had the balls to go drive it, it was only when I thought I could possibly afford it. And then I went to drive it and I drove it and I talked myself out of it because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to pay for the car. Like, you guys, of course, my company's in a different place now, but where is that still showing up? Right? Where are we still playing it safe? We have one life to live. This morning actually, I'm going to do thermography to make sure that I don't have an inflammation in my body or cancer or anything that could kill me. But yet, how did we live our life yesterday? Did we live it? Did we really live it? Did you make as much of a difference as you could? Or did you not even get up to the plate? Or did you only get up to the plate in the areas that you felt that you could do it? Look, Coffee with Shanda this morning isn't about just an inspiration. It's about waking up. It's about waking up. And I believe that we wake up well together. I believe that we do better together. But I have to say that these are the conversations that I'm thinking inside my mind. Instead of just hoarding them for myself and getting ahead in life, I want to share them with you because you know what? Most of everything that's created wealth, freedom, and happiness in my life has happened inside here. It's happened inside my head. Sure, do I try new business strategies and do some of them work and most of them fail? Yes. But what I tell myself about the ones that have failed is now I learned that. How do I make it work? It's everything that's happened up here. And now my conversation, the whole reason why I'm working with a billionaire right now, and the whole reason why I'm like, all these different areas in my life that I'm going after, the reason why I do all these things is because I want to influence myself and you to live bigger. And live bigger doesn't necessarily mean get a bigger goal. It means, how are you optimizing today? And when I asked myself, was yesterday wasted? Because I asked myself that question before I got on. I literally said, no, it wasn't wasted, but it was okay. And I think that's a slap in the face to God. I think that's a slap in the face. Why is okay okay? So why don't we just stop for a second, and all of us, me included, if today was extraordinary, if you got an extraordinary result in one or two areas of your life, and let's just pick them. Why don't we say in a relationship? So if you're not in love, it could be a family member, right? And by the way, don't do the bare minimum on this, right? Like, go over and above what we make a decision today to do. But if you were to make a difference in a relationship where you were the ultimate giver, you were the what, like, and then by the way, if they don't accept it, don't sit there and be an asshole about it. Literally, like, take it in and realize that you're in, like, what was the intention of doing that in the first place, and stay committed to that intention. Once my best friend kept flaking on me in Canada. We were there for Christmas, and she kept flaking on me. And I got frustrated because I've always said, if I could fall in love, which I am now, if I could fall in love and accept the person that I fell in love with the way I accept my best friend Burita, that I would have died and gone to heaven. Like, that was always my standard. And so with that, I've always accepted Burita, that whatever Burita does, I just merge to, because I love her that much. Not because I'm a people pleaser, not because I'm a doormat, none of that. If you know me very well, I'm none of those things. But because I genuinely love her that much, it's very hard for that woman to do anything wrong in my space. I thought, imagine if I ran my company like that. Imagine if I ran my marriage like that. Imagine if I self-talked myself like that. Right? Imagine if I had that much love for her, if I could do that everywhere. And that was always my standard. And I remember being in Vancouver, and it was Christmas time. We're from Vancouver, Canada. And she kept flaking on me. She used to have a habit of doing this. And she would always change plans. She was like all over the place. And so finally I got frustrated because I kept putting things off with my family, readjusting my plans. And of course, she never knew I was doing all of these things. Just like anybody who hurts us, they never know all the things that you're doing to accommodate them. But the purpose of accommodating them is not with a expectation. It's because you love them. And the minute you take out the anger and tell them all the things you've done for them, you've now lost your power, right? You've now lost your power. And now you're basically taking the rug out from all of the good deeds that you're doing. You got to stay fixated on why it is that you're doing the things in the first place. Well, truthfully, I lost it with Brita, and I got frustrated, and I basically told her, like, all the things that I always do to support you. Have you ever been in this conversation? These are all the things that I do to support you, and you keep flaking on me, and I'm done. I won't see you at Christmas. I'm done. I'm out. Have a good Christmas. I'll talk to you when we get back to the States. Well, she called me up, and she basically said to me, and she loved me. And she said, and this is really hard to not forgive somebody. So if someone doesn't like take your love that you do today, remember this story. She kept taking responsibility and saying to me, Shanda, I love you and you're right. Shanda, I love you and you're right. Shanda, I love you and you're right and you're worth it. Whatever I have to do, if I have to drive across the city, if I have to do it right after dinner, if I have to do it on Christmas Eve, if I have to do it on Christmas, I'll do whatever it takes to come see you and spend some time with you. And you're right and I'm sorry. And she kept saying, I love you. And every negative thing that came out of my mouth, she just said, you're right and I love you. And I remember like I started to laugh and then I started to cry because the demonstration of the leadership that she was showing me was nothing other than pure mastery. And when you can be like that, people will follow you. And so I merged and I followed her lead. And so here's what I want to share with you. What would extraordinary look in a relationship in your life right now? What would extraordinary look like? And then what would it look like if you went over the top? Right? What would, and I'm going to do the exact same thing today. What would extraordinary look like in your business? And if you're in a career, then your career. What would extraordinary look like in that area of your life? And if you're too bitchy or broken down or stubborn to be willing to give in those areas, I'm sorry, but you are responsible for being miserable. Because at some point, you have to step up and be a leader. And leaders don't bitch and complain. Leaders create. Leaders don't bitch and complain. They create. They're not too proud to make a difference. They will smooth out any problem in their life, whether they're right or they're wrong, and they will create. They don't sit in breakdown. And so I don't care what anybody's ever done to you. I don't care what your situation is in your life if you don't even have $1 to pay for food. And I don't mean that unempathetically. I mean, you were given this challenge to overcome it. What extraordinary thing are you going to create? And then what would it look like if you went over the top? So, you know, there are really 3 sales. Sounds funny saying that in my company because we have multiple sales a day. But there are 3 sales that I want to do today. And my day is really packed, right? I'm doing acupuncture, I'm doing thermography, and I've got a couple meetings, phone meetings, because most of my company is over the internet. But it's packed. There's about 4 videos my team needs me to do. But really, I mean, there's always some time somewhere, like in the car. There's always some time somewhere that I could actually, you know, make this happen. But there's 3 sales that I'd like to create. What would be extraordinary is 5. Right? So in between all of that, what would that be for you? And you could do one of 2 things. You could post it in the chat if you want some accountability. There's a power in sharing that out loud. But what you're going to have to do when the camera goes off, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to live a day on fire. You're going to have to literally carry around that note with you of what extraordinary would look like. in your business, career, or a relation and a relationship. I don't want bare minimum anymore. I'm tired of bare minimum in your life or anybody else's life. I want you to live today like you're dying tomorrow. I want you to live today like you're dying tomorrow. Okay? And do something extraordinary with today, which means that you're going to have to dodge shitty conversations, breakdowns in relationships. You're going to have to dodge losing your emotional stability. You're going to have to emotionally be stable, and you're going to have to find a way to be passionate. And here's a hint. Sometimes just playing the right song can evoke passion. Sometimes finding the right person to be accountable with today, to live a life on fire today, literally could be the thing that has you shift and really rock it out. But know this, your pattern is coming in. Your thoughts are coming in. And the way that you lived yesterday and many of the other days of your life, that energy is coming in. Will you fight it off and have extraordinary results today? Or is that energy going to steal another day of unoptimizing your life? So I'll leave it to you. On Monday with Coffee with Shanda, I'd love to check in and see. I would love to hear from you. If you can come back on the thread, Instagram, I can't do this with you today, but on Hardcore Business on our Facebook page, you can go and you could actually share what's happening today. And I think the thread could be really inspiring if some leaders would actually go ahead and comment on people's notes on the thread and pull them back into the thread throughout today. And it could be an extraordinary thread of extraordinary results today. But you'll make that happen, not me. Right? You'll make that happen, not me. So I'd love to see who my leaders are, the people who are going to live an extraordinary day. And we'll see you on the thread on the Hardcore Business Facebook page today. And let's see if you could really bring it to the next level and then have other people stay aware enough to bring it to the next level so that energy suck that's going to come in gets pushed out. All right, you guys, God bless. I will talk to you soon. I will see you Monday, but I will see you on the thread because I'm going to look on the thread today to get inspiration to be able to live my life on fire today. All right. God bless.